Just start off by telling us about the work.
Mohawk's work?
Yeah, Mohawk.
Yeah, it was good. Him and Anna Marie, it's their first work back since they both ran. And we were just looking for something just kind of smooth, steady, get them off the bench, and they both looked good, and happy with how it went. Nothing quick, but like I said, nice and smooth. Both horses look great coming back. We're good.
Obviously, Mohawk hasn't run on the dirt before in a race, but he's been training on it pretty frequently throughout his career. Just what are your thoughts on how he moves over the surface here at Churchill Downs?
I've never had an issue. He's always worked really well on it, just as his pedigree and maybe just some of his physical attributes had us spotting him on the turf early on. But like I said, he's strengthened up a lot since 2-year-old year and come through. Like in New Orleans, he's putting up some really strong works. We'll kind of next couple weeks ratchet it up a little bit. Obviously, he's going to have to get over the dirt, really well, and like I said, we could get an off. You never know what's going to happen Derby Day, but in the meantime, we'll just do everything we can to prepare him for what could come.
Two more works?
2 more works, yeah. Yep.
Joe Ramos was aboard today for the work. Is he going to have the Mountain Derby?
Yes, Joe is going to ride him. He rode him beautifully in the Jeff Ruby, and see no reason to make a change.
This horse has had multiple riders. Did you want to make sure you're not in a situation like last year with Anna Marie where, you said, let's stick with who's been loyal with us, and
Yeah, we did the same thing. I mean, Ben finished, got us to the Derby last year with the Louisiana Derby, and this is the first time he sat on him, but it's the same situation. Like, yeah, I think with this horse, he's easy enough to ride, not real complicated. He's had a lot of different riders. He gives you, or every rider that's sat on him, 110%. So, like I said, Joe rode him great. There's no reason to make a change. It's a big deal for Joe. It's his first Derby. I've used Joe a lot over the years at Indiana and stuff like that, and the kid always gives me 110%. And I just, really happy with how he handles things.
What were your takeaways from being in the Derby last year that maybe are steering you one way or the other this year?
Well, I guess you putting the horse in the race, it's a war. It's like trip is everything. There's 1,001 things that can go wrong once the gates open. So, like, you don't necessarily need the best horse to win the race, but you just need a horse that gets the trip, can handle the distance, and, you don't know what the conditions are going to be on the day. So I just think I'm not going to stress, not going to worry about, the things we can't control, the things we can, and just try to get our horses as ready as possible. And then everything else, just enjoy the ride and, appreciate where we're at.
Is there anything you learned from that first time through that say you're going to try to do differently this time around?
I don't know that you can. I think you just get your horse ready, and then after that, and it's like I said, there's 20 horses in the field. It's unlike any other race in the United States. Like, to predict, the trip you're going to get or if form holds up, you can't really. So you just really need to get your horse in a position to go out and, run a respectable race, and then kind of racing gods and racing luck take once the gates open, that's what's in control, not us.
You knew that going in that's what the Derby was like. You'd had certainly been around Derby horses, sure. But after everything you put into with Anna Marie and getting there, going through it and seeing it with your horse firsthand was kind of like all of that, and then
yeah, it's exactly right.
Then you're out
in the
race.
In the first 0.5 seconds of that race, it was seemingly over for him, getting absolutely just jostled around at the start, and losing a ton of ground early. And like I said, vengeance is the best thing, to just kind of wrap up, give him a good trip, pick up some horses at the end, and it's like I said, we got to run in it, and that's pretty big honor. I mean, coming from Louisville and getting to be a part of the race, which only 20 horses a year get to, so to be a part of that 2 years in a row, it's it's awesome. But like I said, there's no expectations going into it. I want to win, but at the end of the day, it's a lot that I can't account for.
He breezed with Anna Marie today. Why are they a good pair to go out there and
I hope the
together?
one teaches the other one exactly kind of what you need to take away. No, it's just I want to get the one ready for the dirt, and like I said, Anna Marie's always been a solid dirt horse, good workhorse. They just, for where they're both at in their schedules too, they just match up perfectly. So
Doesn't that say something about your barn and how it's evolving, that you actually have stake horses to work with your stake horses?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Trust me, when I was first stabled here and I had 4 horses and I didn't have any horses that could work together, it made things a lot trickier. But yeah, as you grow and you get horses that are kind of coming up the same paths, maybe in just different years or just similar types, it makes it a lot easier. Especially we got numbers now. I mean, we got, between here and Keeneland, like 40 horses and some babies coming in. So it just makes it easier to really, find that workmate that's going to be, the best team, best, partner for each individual horse, kind of relative to where they're pointing.
Along those same lines, 2 years in a row now to go to the Derby, nothing's guaranteed, but do you feel like you're at a point now where do you ever really expect to do it every year? Can you get to
No, I mean, I want to expect every year, every time all those babies come in, I want to, have kind of my expectations. I'd like to end up in these type races, whether it's going to be the Derby. That's just like, you hope, and, it's part of, like, we all dream about it. Like, this is where I want to be in the Derby every year. After last year's appearance, it's like, I want to do that again. And here we are doing it again. Like, do we have a favorite? No, but we still have a horse that earned his way into the race. So, like, no matter where he's run and what he's done, like, this is a race that long shots can win. This is not something that we go in hopeless, you know what I mean? I get that we're going to be longest shot on the board, but the horse don't know that.
He had to be 1-2 in the Jeff Ruby to get into this race because he'd only raced on grass. So did you see that as sort of a bridge race, or did you see that this is a good spot to try to be 1-2 in?
Yeah, I mean, just as far as it was a points race, but it also kind of put him into the transitional thing where you go on the poly, not necessarily straight to dirt. And I felt the horse, he's always trained very well on dirt, so I knew that he would run a respectable race up there. Like, I was pretty confident we were going to get in. I knew I had the right horse. I knew he was training well enough. I knew, the Ruby's just one of those, like, Turfway's a tough surface to predict as well. You can't really say how if a horse is more apt to run on grass or dirt is going to run better on that. You just can't. It's just one of those, it changes day to day, so. But I felt just with everything he had done for us and just the type of horse he was, that would be a good spot to bridge the gap between here, the dirt track, and hopefully get in at the same time.
So you have 40 horses now. How many horses did you have this time a year ago?
We had 10 over here and probably 30 maybe.
You had 30?
25 to 30, yeah. It's been a steady growth. Every year we've added about 10 stable where, like, I have to buy 10 new webbings and feed tubs, and that's been since we started 4 years ago. So yeah, we're scaling like slowly. We don't need to like jump up and be having 150 horses. I'm kind of like 60 is going to be where I kind of like say that's good.
Did you pick up any business that you see as sort of a direct byproduct of being in the Derby last year?
I would assume so. I mean, I don't necessarily ask people what their reasoning for contacting me, or people that are with me already buying more horses, but I think everybody, I mean, that sees you can put horses in big races and do it with some consistency. I think that's a draw for any trainer. Not just me, but anybody that does that. Todd's a master of putting horses in the Derby, and look how his business has been consistently booming for the last 20 years. So.
What's the perfect scenario for finding them up?
Perfect scenario: breakneck pace, wet track, pick them all up late, perfect trip right through. Yeah.
What's it like having Jason Worth as an owner?
Great. He's awesome. He's like, not only because he's just a good guy, he's been in this, like, he knows about competition, knows about sports, he understands like what it takes to prepare an athlete, but the guy just loves the game. He wants to grow it. He wants to bring people in, and he's just, he's good for us, but he's also good for, the bigger entity that is horse racing that is struggling. I mean, nobody can't watch racing and say New York or Santa Anita or some of these places with short fields, and just how we're kind of like, still working on keeping the sport, populated with good horses, good trainers, good owners, and the people that are willing to like reinvest in it. The primal level of what competition is, this takes care of it. Like whether you're watching football, basketball, baseball, whatever, like we're watching it for that, it fills that gap for us, So horse racing is the same way. We just gotta bring it to the people.
Jacksonville Hill go into the Busher. Was that kind of sort of different but similar, the thinking to go into the Jeff Ruby with Mohawk in that, she needed points? And
yeah, we sent her there specifically to win and get points, and you just kind of look around at your where to run these fillies or where to run colts or where you're going to try to like maximize your output when you are trying to get into a certain race. And I knew it was going to be a short field. I knew it wasn't going to be the toughest of all the preps, and I knew it would give us the amount of points we needed to get in with the points she already had, so it worked out really well.
Just talk about her breeze was Simply Joking this morning.
It was great. They worked fantastic. They 48 and change, head and head, galloped out extremely well. I'm very happy with that. Very happy.
Simply Joking, I know you were kind of thinking about either the Kentucky Oaks or the 8 Bells. What swayed you towards the Oaks?
Was I thinking about the 8 Bells?
I don't know. It was mentioned to me the other day.
Yeah, I don't know that. Well, no, yeah, the fillies always, like, I've been fortunate enough to work, around a lot of good fillies over the years. I mean, I worked for Todd with a lot of the Oaks fillies we brought over. Princess Silmar, and I know she has the quality, the class, and the ability to, run, win, or, be very competitive in that race. Everything she's done to this point has given me a lot of confidence. I don't have to go home and think about if she's good. I know she's good. I know she's been, every step of the way since we first got her. She has never let me down in a breeze, in a race, in anything. She's right there all the time. So I'm confident, just kind of seeing how the form has held up against other tracks and other horses, that she belongs. And yeah, the Oaks would be the, I think, primo spot for her. Obviously, we got to look at everything as we come through, but, there's always opinions.
Flo picks up the mount there. Just how is he going to fit the filly?
I think Flo fits her beautifully. I mean, Flo has always been very dangerous here at Churchill Downs, number one, but a filly like her that kind of wants to run, on or close to the lead. He's always been a master at getting them to just kind of, bide their time, rate themselves the best of their, and I'm super confident we got the right rider for her.
Probably asked you this last year, but being a Louisville guy and everything that goes along with the Derby and everything, was that a burden on you? Ticket ass, things like that. Was it?
No, it was actually, no, it's just because it was awesome. I mean, I grew up here, so it's a real nostalgic thing for a lot of people that I grew up with, and people's parents and friends, and people you haven't seen in a while, and they all kind of, collected those couple days out and around here, got a lot of calls. It was just a really awesome experience, man. Old friends, that I grew up with, new friends that I met through the track, everybody kind of coming together, and it's just, it was really cool. And we're excited to get to, be a part of it this year. Really excited.